Hello, I'm Larry Lowenthal, and this is Gloria Brown. We are both longtime members of our respective communities. I live in Foster City, and Gloria lives in San Mateo. We are two of the 8 members of the Next Steps Advisory Committee of the San Mateo Foster City School District. We have been meeting since last spring to address the challenge of increasing student enrollments and its impact on school facilities and equity, and to develop viable options for meeting this critical challenge. The other members of the committee also come from San Mateo and Foster City and include 2 current members of the school district's Board of Trustees. Appointed by the district, we are all community leaders. 2 committee members were active in the Measure P bond campaign in 2013, which failed to achieve the needed voter approval, 1 in favor and 1 against. Daniela Relaford from San Mateo and Isabel Bushman from Foster City. Other members are Avilia Chavez, who like Gloria is from North Central San Mateo. Audrey Ng, current president of the school board who lives in Foster City. Ed Cody, a current school board member, and Mark Hudak, a former school board member, both from San Mateo.
Last fall, the committee asked the Peninsula Conflict Resolution Center, a respected local nonprofit, to hold town halls and forums throughout our communities to provide information on the challenge of increasing enrollments and its impact on school facilities and equity, and to gather suggestions from parents, staff, and members of the San Mateo and Foster City communities on ways to provide the needed classroom space. Over 2,000 of you participated by attending a town hall or forum or providing your input on an online survey. In total, more than 3,000 suggestions, ideas, and comments were received. Since then, the Next Steps Committee has been reviewing the suggestions made and analyzing them for costs, benefits, and impact. The district provided the committee with 2 important pieces of information, which have been important to our analysis of different suggestions. Over the next 10 years, a total of 54 classrooms are needed, 16 elementary and 16 middle school classrooms in San Mateo, and 12 elementary and 10 middle school classrooms in Foster City. We are also working on a potential total budget, which is comprised of 2 sources, $42 million from Measure L, designated to add student capacity, and a potential new bond measure of $138 million. From these 2 sources, $14 million need to be set aside for inflation and temporary housing costs at existing sites during construction, which leaves $166 million for projects that will address the challenge of increasing enrollments and impact on school facilities and equity.
We developed criteria that we are using to guide our discussions as we create a list of viable solutions for our community's consideration. The major criteria that we are using to address school capacity needs are providing the classrooms needed in both San Mateo and Foster City over the next 5 to 10 years, meeting the requirements of the state for school sites and facilities, as well as the district's standards for classrooms, programs, and support space, having solutions which can be implemented and completed in 2 to 3 years, as well as over the next 10 years, and providing solutions which the communities of Foster City and San Mateo can support.
The equity criteria that we are using include ensuring that there is enough space in schools so parents have choices about which schools their children attend, whether it be a neighborhood school, a magnet school, or a different neighborhood school in the district, providing support facilities such as libraries, labs, and gyms to give students comparable access to programs regardless of the size of their schools, providing modernized facilities for more students, and ensuring that the school district has school buildings and programs which are supported by research, meet legal requirements, and improve the socioeconomic diversity balance throughout our schools.
Using these criteria, the committee developed 5 components which we believe will address the challenge of increasing student enrollment over the next 10 years. The first 2 components address the classrooms needed in San Mateo. The first component is to replace the large group instruction rooms, referred to as LGIs, at George Hall and Sunnybray Elementary Schools with new multi-purpose rooms combined with additional classrooms to serve the areas of new housing developments. This component is much like what was done at Baywood School 3 years ago to accommodate increasing enrollments there, and will add 16 additional elementary classrooms in San Mateo. The second component is to add new gyms and classrooms to Abbott and Burrell Middle Schools to achieve the additional 16 middle school classrooms needed in San Mateo. After receiving input from our communities last fall, the committee felt that it is important to have a neighborhood school as a choice for families living in the north central area of San Mateo. So we have developed 2 options for the north central San Mateo neighborhood school component. The first option in the north central San Mateo neighborhood school component is to build a new elementary school on the vacant part of the College Park campus located at the corner of East Poplar and North Humboldt. The new school would have 10 classrooms with a capacity to serve 250 North Central neighborhood students who would be selected based on application and lottery. Or the second option is to renovate and reopen Knowles School in the southwestern part of San Mateo so that the Mandarin Immersion Magnet Program, currently housed at College Park School, can be relocated to Knowles. College Park School would become a neighborhood school choice for approximately 500 students who live in the north central San Mateo neighborhood, again with selection based on application and lottery.
The last 2 components address the need for additional classrooms in Foster City. Like the North Central neighborhood school component, we have identified options or choices within each Foster City component. There are 3 options for the Foster City Elementary School component. They are to acquire a portion of the Booth Bay Park and build an elementary school there with 16 classrooms with the potential of partnering with Foster City for shared use of the multipurpose room and other shared spaces, or acquire the Charter Square Shopping Center site and build a 24 classroom school on that site, or add a new 2-story classroom building at Brewer Island Elementary School, which would replace the portables and provide 6 additional classrooms. In order to provide the new elementary classrooms that are projected to the needed in Foster City, this third option includes implementation of a morning and afternoon kindergarten sessions at all 3 elementary schools in Foster City. The committee's 5th component addresses the need for additional middle school classrooms in Foster City. We have identified 2 possible options at Bowditch Middle School. The first is to replace the current music and administration buildings with a 2-story building, adding a total of 10 new classrooms, and replace 4 old portables closest to the office with new relocatable classrooms, or add a new 2-story classroom building on the unused part of the Bowditch campus at the corner of Tarpon and Beach Park. This option will provide 14 new classrooms and replace 4 old portables closest to the office with relocatable classrooms.
The Next Steps Committee believes that the options in the last 3 components, the North Central San Mateo Neighborhood School, Foster City Elementary Classrooms, and Foster City Middle School classrooms, are viable, but there are trade-offs which will be part of the discussions at the town halls and forums. One major consideration is the total cost of the options being considered by the committee. As Gloria noted earlier, the district has identified the potential of $166 million available from a combination of remaining Measure L funds and a new bond measure for the voters to decide. The cost of the San Mateo LGI classroom component and the San Mateo Middle School gym classroom component total $68.5 million. leaving $97.5 million for funding an option from each of the remaining 3 components. Not all options in these 3 components will fall within the $97.5 million potentially available. Trade-offs such as this are an important part of the input that the Next Steps Committee is seeking from the community through the town halls, forums, and survey in April.
As the Next Steps Committee worked, all members concluded that the challenge of increasing student enrollment has to be met by adding additional classrooms in both San Mateo and Foster City to ensure that all youngsters attend schools which support quality educational opportunities. We considered some no-cost or lower-cost options, such as multi-track year-round schools and double sessions every day at all schools in the district. We ultimately decided that these were not good options for San Mateo and Foster City students and families and would not reflect the types of communities in which we have chosen to live.
Now it's your turn. The Next Steps Committee has identified 5 different components about which we want your feedback. We want to know what you think, especially about the options within the North Central San Mateo Neighborhood School, Foster City Elementary, and Foster City Middle School components. In May, after receiving the community's input, the committee will consider carefully your suggestions and develop recommendations for the Board of Trustees to consider. Our goal is to provide our recommendations to the board in June. On behalf of the Next Steps Committee, the San Mateo Foster City School District, and most importantly, the current and future students attending our schools, thank you for contributing to the community's dialogue about the challenge of increasing student enrollments in San Mateo and Foster City and the impact on school facilities and equity.